Hey, hi there. Short update on the Linux front. It's just 1 minute before midnight. It is currently the 22nd of October, Wednesday, 2025. Whatever order that makes sense. Yeah, and like I said, it's like one before midnight. So, well, it just turned midnight. Now it's 23rd October, Thursday. Hooray! Anyway, today I managed to kind of mess about and managed to actually install, Mint on the laptop. Hooray! Yay! Very exciting. Nice. I did have to do some like shenanigans with gparted on the from the live mint USB because I wanted to have two separate EFI partitions for the Windows 10 and Mint to use. So I didn't want them to use the same one because by default Mint has a bug in the installer, and even if you create a EFI partition, Mint's just not going to take it. So you have to use gparted or parted to remove the flag for boot, the boot flag from the Windows partition, so that Mint only takes the partition that you made. So it's kind of cool. I followed some like plan that I had, and like I set up some the drive thing that I have. I'm just gonna explain it because like I wrote some stuff down. So yeah, the gave the Linux EFI partition 1 gig, probably more than enough, but probably a lot more than I need, but whatever. I gave the swap partition twice my RAM in case I ever want to do hibernation, even though Linux hibernation apparently is bad and you shouldn't do it. So that's I always use hibernate on Windows 10, so I'm kind of have to break that habit, but just have it just in case. So swap is 24 gigs. I gave slash or root. I call that slash because nobody told me it was called root, so I just called it slash until now. I just call it slash. Anyway, I gave root 100 gigs because that's what they suggest on the Linux Mint website, on the install instructions. So go with that. And the rest I had 380 gigs. So that is for slash home. So I made these four partitions. Yep, excellent. Kind of set it up with my mother's name and stuff because this technically my old laptop is now primarily used for my mother stuffs. And yeah, I had to, like I said, I had to do the. Oh, my hand hurts now. Okay. Oh man, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's done. Cool. I'm very excited. It works. So yeah, like I said, the gparted thing after the Mint installed, like I had to do all the partition things in the Linux Mint Live USB. The installation option. You choose the something else option, and I have to manually set up each of these four partitions. Then make sure the boot flag is off. From gparted, actually make sure that is off before you do the partition thing, but yeah, whatever. And then choose the EFI partition that you created as the EFI partition to go, and yeah, it'll install fine. And then you have to go into the grub pile, which is under root etc /default/grub. That's it. Apparently Linux has files without extensions. Amazing. But yeah, grub. Do that. Go in there. So by default the grub menu is hidden. You need to enable that to menu. Have to give a timeout so that it doesn't automatically launch Linux and actually gives me an option. I gave it 20 seconds, so that's more than enough to choose Linux or Windows. And make sure there's a commented out section for disabling OS Prober, which is set to false. So you need. Okay. There is a comment that has disable OS Prober to be false. So by default, OS Prober is disabled. because that false line is commented out. So I have to uncomment that. So disabling the OS prober is set to false. So now OS prober is enabled. There's a lot of triple negatives there, but anyway, there's only one triple negative, but you get the idea. It's confusing. And then you have to update grub, which is update-grub with sudo, of course. And yeah, that updated the grub file, and so when it launched again, it works fine. I went into multiple times into Windows, and immediately it gave me a, hey, it's time to update Windows 11, reject immediately. Anyway, but yeah, cool. I'm gonna experiment with it now, so I have some place to experiment. It worked fine. I'm actually terrified that I was not able to mess it up. That is horrifying. Now I need to figure out, because there's no inbuilt way of doing this, and this is like one of my annoying things. So I have to do like increase the I don't know why I open NeoFetch. I just like this icon. And anyway, shut up me. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, it is cool. So I had to increase the font size a little bit, font scaling. I think I made it 1.2. Yeah, I made some like slight changes, made this like default to be list view, because obviously, anyway, the only thing that annoys me is that there is no inbuilt way to increase these things, the window title bar icons. There is no inbuilt way in Mint to increase those things. They are freaking tiny. Like, why is there no inbuilt way to do this? Anyway, whatever. So I looked up some solutions. I have to customize some CSS and put them in somewhere in the root folder or something. I don't know. I'll check it out tomorrow. Like I said, it's 6 minutes past midnight now. I am sleepy. Yeah, cool. Anyway, we minting, boys. We absolutely minting. Let's hype. This is beyond hype. Okay, now I just have to buy my new SSD for the desktop and then do this exact same thing again. Hooray! Except the SSD, except my desktop. Okay, so here's the funny thing. I put it on my Discord server while like I put it on my Discord server because it's so stupid. I needed to tell someone. Okay, so my laptop, okay, the motherboard of the laptop uses a BIOS, not UEFI. But the disk inside the laptop is partitioned as UEFI. So I had to do Linux as UEFI. Okay, my desktop, the motherboard opens as UEFI, but every disk in it, which is, we have an SSD and an old hard disk, like a optical hard disk, both of those are MBR. So like, what the why is it the other way around? So yeah, installing it on the desktop is going to be slightly tricky. I'll apparently like all operating systems need to be either MBR or GPT, otherwise they can't detect each other. I will experiment with this. I think my plan is to install Linux as UEFI on my desktop and then see if the UEFI Linux can access the MBR Windows partitions. If not, then I'll like reinstall Linux. That's fine. That's not an issue. But yeah, that is the plan. That is the plan so far. So much more involved experimentation for the desktop will be done. But anyway, step 1 done. Time to experiment. Thank you for tuning in. That was my Linux Ani's journey to Linux day 2. Like several days went in the middle. I couldn't find time to actually do it, and I needed to watch a bunch of videos to build up confidence, because this is fucking scary. Okay, all right. Anyway, this is the first time I'm literally seeing Linux being used in my entire life. First time by myself or by anyone. This is the first time I'm actually seeing Linux IRL. Like I said, I've never seen it before outside of the internet. So, holy shit, what the fuck, I did it. This is amazing. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Till next time, take care. And remember, switch to Linux if you're not already, because it's kind of cool, but it is also frustrating. And I'm sure I'm gonna get a bald spot trying to figure this out. But holy shit, it is still better than the bullshit that is Windows 11. Good night. Bye. Hooray!